Mr. Desmond Choo.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, this review of the Penal Code is timely and addresses many of the evolving societal concerns and new crime trends that warrant enforcement. For example, the repeal for the immunity for marital rape restores dignity to women who suffered but were not accorded due justice. Decriminalizing attempted suicide while ensuring similar powers to require treatment marks a good balance between legislative powers and rehabilitation. I remembered rather vividly that as a young police officer I had to serve a warning to a young lady, paralyzed from waist down, whose injuries was as a result of a failed suicide attempt. It felt unnecessary and discomforting then. Now, similarly, legislation against voyeuristic activities and revenge pornography reflects the tighter legislation needed for the digital age. Very frequently, our aged laws are not able to protect victims as technology progresses much faster than legislation. Our law enforcement officers are often left with a patchwork of legislations across different statutes, stewing in their frustration to restore justice. Left unaddressed, the digital world is no different from a crime-ridden ghetto where self-branded vigilantes prevail, and whose very inhabitants in this ghetto are also intimidated by these self-branded cops. This set of penal code amendments will restore order and justice for many victims. Technological advancements meant voyeurs are having their field days. Armed with advanced zoom cameras, smartphones, and insidious spying instruments, voyeurs make the world a very unsafe place, especially for women. Not only do they not stop their filming or taking photos of very private moments, but they go on to upload and distribute on the internet. This is deplorable. I support this amendment. At the same time, can I clarify to the Minister that victims can still have their cases investigated if the videos were distributed prior to the passing of the law, but still found on different websites after the passing of this law? Would the police have the powers to compel the owners of these sites to remove such voyeuristic materials? In addition, would private investigators also be prevented from taking such private videos, even though it's presumably required under the course of their work? As part of the amendments, the bill also seeks to address the broad adverse impact from computer trading on the financial systems. Because of the speed of trades, malicious and rogue traders can make a lot of money in a short span of time. They can also cause lasting damage and collapse financial systems. Now, specifically, MHA has introduced Section 424, capital A, and Section 424, capital B, to tackle situations such as the London Whale case involving JP Morgan or the manipulation of the LIBOR in 2012 involving multiple banks. These amendments are important because of the growing number of financial fraud cases and the sophistication of the rogue traders. Now, while I support the new sections to combat financial fraud, I have a few clarifications for the Minister. Under the new Section 424, capital A, the penalty for imprisonment up to 20 years is twice as heavy as the current Section 420 offence of cheating. The latter requires that there must be wrongful loss or that there must be a clear victim, but not the new section. While I note the need for strong deterrence, can the Minister clarify why no victims is required as compared to the existing cheating offences? I would also like to seek the Minister's clarification on the following. First, why is this new section needed instead of strengthening, for example, the Securities and Futures Act, Chapter 289? Second, the need for strong deterrence for financial manipulation is abundantly clear. The immense financial windfall breeds greed and might destabilize financial systems. Now, noting that the penalty is heavy compared to existing cheating offences, how is our regime compared with those of foreign legislations? Were there previous cases in Singapore in recent years where we were unable to prosecute the perpetrator because there is no equivalent of a Section 424, capital A? Now, according to Section 424, capital A, bracket 2, the new Section 424, bracket capital A also does not require any of the three subsections, namely Section 424, capital A, bracket 1, bracket A, bracket 1, bracket B, and bracket 1, bracket C to be material for the offence to be made out. Now, because the subsections need not have to be material, and presumably more situations might be investigated under section 424 capital A, under what circumstances does MHA envisage that such a piece of legislation will be used? Third, what is the likely impact on the compliance requirements of financial institutions upon the passing of this law? Now, notwithstanding the above clarifications, I believe that this enhanced penal code will empower our law enforcers to protect us better. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I support the bill.